Howdy, everybody. We've had to start this again because for some reason the camera did not flip for me. So give me 1 second just to pull it up on my other screen here so I can see you guys. 1 second. Come on in and say hello. There we are. Much better. There we go. Yay! Thanks, Aiden, for your help. I appreciate that. You have no idea. Hello, Anne! Howdy, 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 howdy. How's everybody tonight? Let me tell you, I've had an interesting day. Hi, Kevin. I had to hurry home from the RCMP, so that's like the Royal Canadian Mounted Police, and oh, I had to fix my camera, Anne. The first one didn't rotate properly. So before we get into it, I'll tell you my mini story here. So I had to go to the RCMP office in the little town that's outside of our big town because my son gets picked up at the bus. Yes, the Mounties. Gets picked up at the bus station that's outside of where we live because he goes to a different high school, so I have to run him out there. So I started filming the bus stop, like when he gets dropped off and picked up, because I've had so many people pass the bus with red lights, the alternating red lights on and the stop sign out. And it happened for it's actually the 5th time I've reported it. Yes, 5 times this year. And it's the 2nd time in 4 days because it happened on Friday night as well. So I've seen the RCMP twice in the last 4 days. So fun. So I reported it and then they send them a nice big fat ticket. I've had video evidence for my last 2, so I'm kind of hoping that people get demerit points taken off. Because, well, especially in the last one, I got his face clearly. And it doesn't pay, I tell you, it doesn't pay to disobey the law. So, all right, on with our card. So today, I thought I would make something a little different. Yes, we're going to do coloring, and you guys can absolutely color along, but we're also going to assemble what's known as a magic card. So this is a magic card. And if I can get my fat little fingers in here. So what happens is you slide it up and it reveals your image in color. Ta-da! So our cute little Adalaide appears at the top in color. So tonight, that is what we are going to be doing tonight. And of course you can do this with any image. I'm going to go through the steps of how to do it. Hi, Betty! So, and then who doesn't love a interactive card, right? So let's go and make a magic card, all right? Okay. So my card, of course, is a standard A2 4¼ by 5½. And I made it easy for myself. And I started off with our awesome card mat builder die, and so this is the one that's stitch pierced, so it gives you that gorgeous little stitched edge, and this is a full 4¼ by 5½, so it's perfect for a card front. Ta-da! So I cut one of those out. Then I took an oval die that I had, and I kind of placed it a little bit more towards the top because I wanted a little bit fatter piece down here for my sentiment. So I cut that out. Okay. Then I kind of measured across. So you can use any shape. You can use a rectangle, a square, a circle, whatever you want to make your window. Okay. Make it easy on yourself, and you can just use your trimmer and cut something out as well. Okay. Dies make it so much easier. Okay. So I measured across. I wanted to know what the width was of my oval because I want to make my piece of paper that slips underneath wider, because that way it slides cleanly behind that image, because if it's too narrow, it can get stuck and stick out the front of your card, and you don't want that to happen. So I measured it and I put a couple of 1/4 inches on each side. So mine actually measures 3 1/4 wide, but you have to kind of do whatever your void is. So measure your void and then add a couple, like 1/2 inch total. Okay. So then I took my, this is 3 1/4 by actually 5, because I need a gap at the bottom. And I cut both a piece of white cardstock and a piece of acetate. So I just have them masked together. This is just low-tack tape. Okay. So it's always better to start with the same size when you're doing the stamping aspect. And you're just going to make it a lot easier on yourself. Okay. Hi, Rebecca. Hi, Joanne. Hi, Amy. I know I haven't made one in a long time, Amy. Okay, so this is where you're going to take both your pieces, and they can be detached, of course, now. You want them identical, though, so make sure that they're right next to one another, same size. And you're going to take this and put this in your platform. You're going to shove it in there. And actually, before you do that, you're going to make sure that this is kind of placed, and I'm using the back. So you kind of center this. This is the top, and this is the bottom. So you kind of have like a U void around it. Okay. This is where you're going to put your foam tape. And you need to know where this sits in your void. So I actually take, you know, a piece of low-tack tape and attach it to the back, like literally just stick it together so that you know it's gonna sit in the right spot, because you want the top of your stamped image and the top of your frame to be at the same point. So I just tack them together, and then you load this in your stamping platform, because I don't think you can do this properly without. And then you take your stamp and you center it within whatever window you have decided. Okay. And then the important thing is that you have to use the right ink for the right media. So for your acetate, you actually have to use something that works on plastic. So this is where the good old StazOn comes in. Now I tend to use jet black, but there are different colors of StazOn that you can use. So always StazOn on your acetate, right? So without moving your stamp in the platform, you're going to detach these two little fellas, the ones that are identical in size, and you're going to stamp this. So you're going to fold this back down. So it's going to be in the exact same spot again, and stamp it through your window. Okay? So you have two of the same image. You got one in acetate and one in cardstock. Okay? So it's all about the positioning. Okay, the key is definitely make these two pieces identical in size. Even if you die cut them, die cut one from the acetate and one from the cardstock. And that is going to be like most of your problem will be solved at that point. Okay, so that's our basis of our card. So we're going to set this frame aside. And I tend to like, for these particular cards, I like a side folding instead of a top folding, because there's too much of a fold at the top for your pull-out piece. So I tend to do this because you only have to deal with one extra layer. So I tend to do a side fold, not a top fold. So just so you're aware. And then we're going to make one more piece of cardstock, and this will come into play for our disappearing act. And you're going to make this exactly the same width as your double piece. Okay, so mine is 3 1/4, whatever yours is, do the same for this, and just make it extra long because we can trim it off later. Okay, So you need this, and this can be any weight. Okay, we'll set that aside for the moment. So now that we have our stamped little gal and our Stays On ink is all done, I'm just gonna detach these because they don't need to be together, and we're gonna get to some color in tonight. Okay. So I'll just show you one more time what we are making here. We're just making a magic card. And we're gonna color her really simply, and of course you can put matching cardstock. This pattern paper is from our awesome Retro Kitchen 6x6 set. And I'll show you how to assemble all that aspect when we get there. Let's do some coloring. Okay. So I have a picture of this for you, which I will post in the forum and in the comment section just in case you want to come back, so that the reference will be there for you. We're actually going to do some airbrushing tonight. So if you've never seen Copic airbrushing, you're going to enjoy this. So I've already made a cute little mask, and as you can tell, I've already used it. I used it on my first one. Depending on your masking paper, you can use your masks again and again. So we're just going to lay her down, and I'm going to bring in a piece of scrap paper to do this, just because I get overspray with my machine. And I'm going to turn it on, and I'm going to show you what it looks like. Your hubby uses your compressor more than you. That's funny. So I have a little teeny one underneath my desk, and it doesn't make a lot of noise, but it comes on a little bit more often than my bigger, older one. So this is the Copic Air Grip. Okay, and it is attached to a little air compressor underneath my desk. And typically you use the, not the brush end, the nib, okay? And what you do, you see the angle of the nozzle right here? What you do is you want to insert it to match that same angle. So it literally just goes in and clicks. And when it clicks, you know it, it's in the right spot. Okay. I always test my markers before I go and spray, because each marker, even though it's supposed to come out the same, it does not. So just be aware. So testing off to the side here. So this marker is my BV02, and I'm just going to do a halo around her. And I just want to put a light application. So whatever color you think this is, it's going to be a couple shades lighter when it comes out of the Copic system, okay? And all you do is just press your finger down on the system, and the air blows across the nib and distributes it on your paper. Now, you can use the brush end, but it gives you a different effect. The nib end is used for nice smooth application. Okay. Just going around the edges. Sometimes you have to layer, and I hope you guys can hear me over my compressor. Alright. The juicier your marker, the faster this goes. Just want to get the halo kind of around her. Okay, there we go. So that's my BV02, and I'm going to come in with the next color, which is BV04, and it's a little bit darker and deeper. Okay, again, always test it off, because this one came out a lot different. So I'm going to start kind of around the edges and work my way in this time. This is a great tool to work with stencils. Actually, you know what? You know what? Let's pull a stencil in to do the rest. Hang on. Let me see what I have here. Okay. And Anne, you're going to have to tell me what stencil this is because I don't have it labeled. That's not very nice of me. Okay, so we're just going to lay this over top. Actually, we're going to put down a little bit of a layer first. Just in this other corner, just to balance it out. And then we'll put the stencil over. Sometimes if you stop it and start it, the nib seems to fill up with ink again, so you can always do that. Okay, I'm going to tack this down because I know this is going to move if I don't. Okay. Alright, there we go. And again, Anne, you're going to have to, or Kevin, you're going to have to put the name of this stencil down because I don't have it labeled, sadly enough. Okay, just gonna pull in. I always have pieces of low tack tape kind of handy for doing my dies or putting stuff together. So there we go. Okay, so you can use this over your stencils. And you can actually clean the ink off your stencil if you wish. Now, if you're going to use this with another kind of ink over top, that's okay too because it won't transfer. Because it's alcohol based, right? You can go right over top. So if I wanted to clean this off, I'd just take a paper towel and put a little rubbing alcohol on it and just wipe it gently across and it will come off. Or a microfiber cloth will also work. And yes, this is a little bit noisy. I apologize, but fun. Okay, let's do a reveal. No, the packaging doesn't actually say. Sadly enough, nope. Okay, gotta remember I get some products before you guys do, so sometimes things aren't fully packaged like you guys would get them. So, there, isn't that cool? Okay. And you know what the best part is when you take off that mask. Oh yeah, baby. So I'm just going to rub off my adhesive because it'll just make it easier to color. Okay, are you ready for the magic? Flower tile stencil. Thank you, Kevin. Okay, so I'm going to carefully... My nails aren't cooperating tonight, guys. Come on, little fella. Come on. There she goes. And I keep my masks as long as they're in good condition. I just stick them to the back of my package for my stamp. All right. Thank you. And there's a link to that. Okay, let's get on with the show here. Okay, we're gonna come in a little bit. Hang on one second. I gotta stand up so I can see. How is that? Okay. Okay, so next we're going to work on her skin. And I've got a combination of E43, E53, E51, E43 for her cheeks, and R22 for her tongue. So I'm going to lay down a little bit. I'm going to lay down the base first. Oh, hang on. I got to turn up my compressor. Otherwise, it's just going to sit there and buzz. Good thing Kevin does work here. I know. He's awesome. Okay. So this is, sorry, E51. I think we'll go a little bit more in the middle so you guys can actually see. Okay, I'm going to lay down my base color of E51. So I have to know, do you guys actually know any of the Copic names? I only know them by their numerical number system. Like when somebody says, oh, milky white, which is the name for this particular color, I wouldn't know what they were talking about. Okay, so I'm trying to go evenly, but yeah, that doesn't always happen. Okay. I'm trying to maintain the whites of her eyes. Again, that doesn't always happen either. And I like to do her cheeks kind of meeting her pupils there, but you don't have to. You can maintain a white all the way around. We're going to give her a little neck color, and I'm going to assume that she doesn't have any sleeves on her outfit, and it's just her bare arms. What's a Copic? Yeah, ha ha ha. Okay, so I am going to go now to the darkest. Yes, to the darkest. And the reason why I take my caps off is that I tend to have a better flow out of my markers. And my E43 is going to be the marker that is used to create my shadow. So I'm going to go under her hairline on the other side, down kind of the side of her ear, down the side of her face, and I'm going to go a little bit down like her cheeks, not quite to the bottom of her chin. And I'm going to go under her chin. I'm going to go under the leaf aspect of her outfit. How cute is that? And I'm not going to put any shadow on her hands. Okay, I'm going to go to my mid-tone, which is an E53. How was everybody's weekend? Did you all celebrate Mother's Day with your moms, or at least call her? My mom is 3,000 kilometers away, so I sent her flowers earlier on last week so that she could enjoy them for the weekend. Okay, E53, I went over all of that E43 just so that it gives you a little bit softer blend, and we might even go in and blend it a little bit more. I'm going to go and accentuate the creases in her lids and just put some color there. I'm going to put a little bit more darkness on her ears, darkness on her neck and her arms and the bottom of her hands. So I'm just going to go over this again. It just helps blend that deep tone and the mid-tone. Okay. Okay, let's bring in our E51 again. And I'm going to use it to blend out all those medium tone lines. Okay. I'm going to go over the medium tone lines a couple of times, and then I'm going to go over everything once again, because I really do find that it blends a little bit more when you do that. Go over the cheeks, and I'm just going to go over her hands again just to blend so I don't have that line. There we go. And let's give her some sweet little cheeks. We're going to bring in an E93. Okay. And I'm just going to sweep kind of down the side of her face too. I just find it gives her that little bit of color down the sides, and sometimes I even go under her hairline again. I like that combination. And we'll do this across her cheeks. I'm going to go one more time just to add a little bit more color. And you can actually go in and blend those lines. I'm not too worried about them today. Let's add a little color to her tongue. This is just an R22. Okay? Simple, simple, simple. And I am going to go into her eyeball because I have colored over the whites. And there. So colorless blender pushes ink into the paper. Okay? Alright, on to the next. I think we will do hair next. So give me 1 second to grab all my markers off to the side here. We're going to start off with a very weird dark marker with a V99, which is kind of weird, but it acts like a great marker for doing shadows. Yes, it's a weird one. E19, E17, where's my E15, and my E11. So we have a few markers in this combination. We are going to start off with our darkest, which is, yes, believe it or not, V99. It's kind of like a purpley brown, for lack of a better term. Let's see if I can bring in my light just a little bit here. Okay, so this is a color that you want to use sparingly because you only want a little bit. You just want it in those most dark, shadowy places. So I'm assuming there's going to be a little teeny shadow underneath her hat. So I'm just flicking ever so tiny flicks. And I'm trying not to make them all the same length because it just looks better. Okay, so rotate it so your image is comfortable in your hand. If you flick better towards you, do it that way. If you flick better away, do it that way. Okay, so we're going to go to the ends. I'm going to do a little bit of flicking behind the ears. Okay, and we're going to do like where her hair comes out from behind her ears and her other side. And we're going to do kind of like the ends of her bangs. And you can always come and add more. It's really hard to take it away. So be conscious of that. And a little teeny bit with the strand that kind of gets tucked. Okay. And then we're going to work on to our next darkest, which is our E19. Okay. Again, I like to take both caps off. I get better control of my ink. Okay, and I want you to go over top of that dark area. It just makes for a smoother blend from one color to the other. This time your strokes are going to be a little bit longer. And again, try and keep them a little bit more uneven. You want some short ones, some long ones. It just makes it look more natural. Okay, but you want to go over that V99. And you can make them a little bit longer if you want. I always like to put kind of like a few stray ones in, because whose hair is perfect, right? There we go. A little bit more down her tucked bangs. Who doesn't love doing hair? Love doing hair. Okay, so you're just going to go back to anywhere where you put that V99. And this is something that you kind of have to practice. This does not come easily. To get the finer point of your marker, take some practice. And some people tend to get get it to do it a little bit more easily sometimes if they're doing it away from them too. So you just kind of have to experiment on your own to see which direction you kind of get the more desired look for you. Because maybe you like the chunky ends. I like to get finer tipped ends, like woo, like wispies. You don't love doing hair? Oh, but it's so fun. You can get so creative with hair. Right? You could do purple hair or red hair. I don't know why, I love doing red hair on characters. There is something about red hair. Maybe it's because I've always wanted it. I don't know. I have blonde hair. It's just boring. Okay, we're working with E17. This is our mid-tone. So this is almost the color that you're going to have the most of. Again, flick in the direction that is most comfortable for you. I'm going to go over that last color. Make sure you do actually touch it and overlap it. You'll find that you get a nicer blend. I think the hardest hair to color is blonde hair. I don't know about you guys, but I don't know if I have a great color blend for a blonde hair. Sometimes it's all about experimentation before I start, you know. Kind of blend it in a blob off to the side and hope that it's going to look good. Alright. Again, I'm just touching our previous dark color and feathering our E17 out. You're bad at it? What do you mean? I think your hair looks great compared to mine. Geesh. It's taken me years and years. Where did I get the marker holder? Okay, I don't really want to promote another stamp site, but I will ask permission. So, Anne, can I have permission to tell everybody where I got my my Copic holder here? I will ask permission first. Okay, this is my E15 and I'm just flicking again, just that last. I am still trying to maintain a little bit of a white highlight because we have one more marker. You don't necessarily, like you could definitely do the 4-color blend. Kevin says I can. Okay, so this is called a Copic blend holder. And it is made by a company in the US called Sweet Sentiment. And if you type in sweetsentiment.us, that is the company who manufactures them. And Jamie and Sandy make them. And it's really convenient when you want to do lives or if you're just doing something on your own, and it just makes for a really nice setup. So yes, exactly. There you go, Kevin. Okay, so this is our lightest. This is our E11. And of course we only have like just a tiny little bit. Now, if you wanted to leave those white highlights, and quite often I do, you don't even have to color over them, or you don't have to color over them entirely, right? You can just wisp through them. There, so I'm kind of leaving some white and some color. I am going to do her peaky tails all the way up, though. I'm just assuming they're a little farther away. There. Okay, does that work? So yeah, she's kind of got like a strawberry blonde hair. Yes, exactly. Prototype. So Anne is saying that they have a prototype for holding the caps. It's a circular, beautiful wood disc with Stamp Anniething engraved. I think they're burnt into it, and they're really nice too. I don't happen to have mine, but that's okay. All right, let's go on to the pot. We'll do it next. So the clay pot is E09, E08, YR02 and YR65. Okay, so let's go and do it. Now, this time I am going to start. I've never heard of that company. Yes, it's still small, but owners are fabulous ladies. Yeah. Okay, E09. So this is where we're going to put in all of our shading on our clay pot. So there's going to be a lot of shading on the inner part. Okay, so make sure you don't do her body because that's part of her outfit. I'm going to do underneath like the leaf part of her outfit and kind of wrap it around kind of the edge of the pot. Okay, so this is very, very sparingly used. Oh, you have a different one in prototype? Oh, okay. One of these days we'll get Anne to post one and see. I know a number of the ladies and gentlemen who do the lives. If you look in the corner, they've got a cap coin. I'll call it cap coin. All right, so this is our E08. I'm going to fill in the entire inside of that pot because it's completely in shadow. Okay, ta-da. Super easy. Okay, I am going to put a tiny amount of the E08 along the edge of the pot. I'm also going to go underneath that lip because sometimes you get a shadow underneath there, right? The upper part of the pot. Cast a shadow. Again, you want to flick and keep them at different lengths. And I do a little tiny bit towards the bottom. And then we're going to do some on this side. I'm going to leave this light because it's going to pick up a highlight around the top because there's like that edge, right? You can see the edge that's kind of shown there in the line work. Thank you, Joanne. Hi, Trisha. Thanks for coming, everybody. I really appreciate that you guys come and watch. Even if you just watch and learn, I'm happy that you guys came. All right. YR02. And this is pretty much our mid-tone. So you're going to go over top of that dark E08 that we've put down. And you're going to flick out. I'm also going to do the rim around the back here. And you want to flick out. And again, it doesn't have to be perfect. See how there's divots and shorts and fats and thins and yeah. You want to bring this out. Do a little bit more kind of at the top there because a little bit more of that shadow coming through. And almost a little bit of the bottom. Okay. Show me the secrets of the card. I will. We are close because not too much coloring left now. Okay, YR65. This is our lightest tone. And I believe on my original card, I have left a white highlight. It just makes that pot look glossy, right? I can totally see somebody fully putting a kind of a fun little paint job on this pot. It's so cute. You know, you could sketch on some little daisies or something like that. That would look so cute. There we go. Now, see how my dark parts are really dark and then my next color is like there's quite a bit of a gap there? I am going to go back to the YR02, which is our kind of our mid-tone. Yes, Trisha, this is a magic card. I'm going to go back to our mid-tone and just, I'm going to darken up kind of in between there. Put another coat on. just to see if we can get a little bit more of a blend. And of course, Copics are transparent, so you can go over it a dozen times if you really want to. And just add more color and add more layers. Put a little bit more underneath her hands there. And again, I probably could have found even another brown and made that a little less different. But you know what? I'm okay with that. Are you guys okay with that? Awesome. Okay. Let's go on to her cute little leaves on her outfit. How adorable. Okay. I'm going to start with my darkest color. And my leaves are G28, G17, and G14. Okay. Can you guys tell me if my video is still going? Because right now my screen is frozen and I just want to know if you guys can still see me. Okay. I know it takes a second for you guys to actually hear what I said, so I'll just pause for just a moment here. Okay. So with our leaf, I'm just going to go underneath her chin because there would be a little bit of shadow there first. You can see me. Perfect. Thank you. Thank you, ladies. And then I'm going to kind of go around those veins, and I'm going to kind of make some of them kind of rounded. I don't know how else to explain it. Go around and make the opposite side rounded. So it kind of gives you a monstera leaf. I think that's what they're called. Kind of look. So I'm just going around the edges, just using very, very tip my marker and then just down that central vein. And I'm going to do the same thing on this side. It just, it changes up the leaf just a tiny, tiny little bit, but it makes it so cool when you color it in. It's just a finite detail, but it just kind of makes your leaf go, oh, looky there. Something a little different. There. And I'm going to do the same for the other one. I'm going to go underneath her chin first. Trying not to touch her chin, because who needs green on their chin? And again, I'm going to round out those opposite corners. Like such. And it kind of makes a leaf shape kind of all on its own in between those little veins. So yeah, just kind of mucking it in there. There we go. Just adding that little bit of curvature. All I'm doing is basically just tracing those vein lines and just adding corners, like rounded corners to them. You can try this on your next leaf. Okay, there we go. We have got our super dark green. It is super dark. Okay, I'm actually going to go in with our light green, or lightest, our G14. And I'm going to color all of those white voids in. Like, I'm not even going to go and worry about those the green lines, because I'm going to go over them so quickly that nothing's going to blend. I'm going to go so fast over it. There we go. Then I'm going to go in with my mid-tone, and we're going to put a little kind of shadow to make the leaf look cupped, right? So this, our mid-tone is a G17, and I'm just gonna flick just from that central vein out. And then we're going to go back to our lightest and just blend out that line work. Just a little bit. It's going to be like super subtle, and I'm doing this fast. Wham! Okay. There. Ta-da! Done. Okay, next part is our hat and clothes. And I just have to grab my... There we go. Okay, so this is just a triple blend, an R29, an R24, and an R22. And again, I'm going to start with my darkest. We're going to do her little body first. I'm going to do underneath her little leaves, just a tiny little bit. And then she's got some shadow down the sides of her body. I'm going to make them just a little bit, because they're quite dark, we're going to say. Then I'm going to go medium tone R24. And I'm going to do all the way up underneath her chin. And we're going to flick. Make sure you go over top of that previous R, because you want a nice, lovely blend. And towards her center of her abdomen. And then R22 to finish off the red color. So cute, right? So, now I'm going to ask you guys if you want me to do this, or we can go back to the original card here. So I thought I might put some strawberries on her hat, but leave the base white. So it's your vote. We can either go red, like my original, which is the same 3 colors, or we can make it a white base with some strawberries, maybe? What would you guys like? Strawberries or red? Just say red or strawberries. Because I'm willing to change it up a little bit. What would you guys like? And while you guys decide, I generally take strawberries. Oh, lots of strawberries. Okay, perfect. I like to take this is actually a Sharpie Fine. It's got a really, really fine tip on it. And you can use your Copic markers or your Copic multi-liners. I just like to darken my eyeballs. They're never perfect, so I like to go in and blacken them up. So you guys want strawberries? Okay, then I will make a little bit of a shade and shadow first on the hat, and then we'll put some cute little strawberry shapes on it. Just kind of an ode to kind of what because this to me looks like a little strawberry. I don't know about you guys. Betty voted with you. Yay! Okay, I'm going to put a little bit of very, very simple shading. We're just going to keeping it white, but white still has shadows. So I'm going to go with a C marker. So we're going to do a C3 to start, and then I will blend from there. Okay. So C3 to start, and this is just, I'm going to rotate her. So she's going to be partially sideways here. I'm just going to assume that this side of her hat has a little bit more shadow, so I'm going to make my shadows a little bit longer. It kind of reminds me of a Smurf hat. Right? So cute. And then the shadow kind of dwindles off towards the point. And then we're going to put a little bit of a shadow on this side as well. Just so that it looks round, because your hat is not flat on your head. It has a little bit of a curvature, right? Okay. Lots of strawberries. Yay! I always like to mix it up. I will provide the remainder colors that we do use. So I'm going for a C1, and this is a really light C. And it has lots of blender solution because the number is low, close to 0. So I'm running my whole marker right over top of that C3, okay? And then you can extend your flicks as much as you want, okay? But I'm making sure that I'm running that marker over top the C3 because you want to kind of push that C3 a little bit into your paper. And with the amount of blending solution that is in a C1, that's what is going to happen, okay? So it just gives her hat a little bit of roundness. It's still white, but it has shape. Okay, so strawberries. I think I'm going to start with an R24. And I always seem to work off the screen. I do apologize because my camera is above my head and my screen is frozen in front of me. Okay, let's see. I'm gonna kind of make rounded triangles, I think, to mock in our strawberries. Like such. And then we'll like twist and turn. I'll try and leave a little bit of room to maybe put a little bit of a green leaf shape. And of course we're spitballing this, guys. Like, this is true artistry here because I just go with the flow. So rounded triangles, and they're just odds and sods, guys. And we'll try and do some like upside down and right side up. And some on the edge, because just like your fabric, your patterns run off the edge, right? And you just go right over the shading. That's why you always do your shading first. Because then you can just do your pattern right over top of the shading and you don't have to worry about it doing it later, because just me, I've done it the other way and it does not work. And I'm trying to make them random and sort of strawberry looking. I don't know if I'm achieving that, but oh well, we're gonna try. And you know what, maybe there should be a piece on the edge there. There we go. Okay, how's it looking? Is it looking funny? Okay, I'm gonna laugh at myself. Hilarious. Hilarious. These are the funkiest looking strawberries I've ever seen. I don't know about you guys. Funky strawberries. I literally think I'm just gonna put two like little blobbies on the top to indicate leaves. Yep, they is strange, people. No two alike. That's for sure. Oh god, I don't even know what shape that was. It's all good when you can laugh at yourself, right? Okay. Do a little fella off the top here. I'm trying to kind of make them a little bit smaller as they kind of go to the top here too. Just because I think the pattern would be a little bit further away, so therefore your pattern would be a little bit tinier towards the top. So you have mini strawberries. I don't even know if that was a strawberry. There we go. Okay, that looks really odd. Yes, she does remind me now of strawberry shortcake. Yes, so true. Okay, so I'm gonna pull in our bright green, because I like to, if I'm gonna use colors, I'm gonna use the same colors again. So this is our R14, and I just think that I don't know if this is gonna work or not. Just 2 or 3 little doohickeys for leaves. Right? Does that work? You know what I mean by doohickeys, right? It's such a technical term. Like thingamajigs. Right? You know what thingamajigs are, right? Yeah. Alright. 2s. Look more like carrots if I do 2s. Red carrots, right? Okay, just putting our leaves on the top. And I mean, you could seriously go in and with a white gel pen and give them like white little dots or even black little dots to represent the seeds. They might look a little bit more like a strawberry that way. Okay. One little green that's kind of showing off there. Okay. Do they look like strawberries? Yeah. Ta-da! So funny. Okay, so she's done except for I just want to take a white pen and give her some highlights in a few places. Okay, so to get your white pen a rockin' and rollin', just scribble on the back of your hand. And what it does, it warms up the tip. And it also gets the little ball moving inside. So you get a lot better workings of your pen. I'm going to give her little daddies on her cheeks. Because she's got shiny little cheeks. And let's see. I have like a super those carrots. You're funny, Aiden. No, actually, they're supposed to be strawberries. Sorry. But this might help. Okay, so I have a super fine Copic multiliner. It's a 0.05, so they could be carrots, yes, if you want them to be carrots. And you know what? If her body was orange, she could totally pull off carrots. I'm just going to just a little tiny bit of dots on them. Like, only the recipient is ever going to see this. Maybe see this. Sorry, that's so funny. Just to kind of indicate maybe they're strawberries. Sorry, Aiden, that's so funny. Okay. And of course, I don't even think you guys are going to be able to see this, even if I get the camera in close. So, you know, artistic integrity, right? Funny. Okay. So funny. Okay. What we do for our recipients of our cards. So funny. I only have a few strawberries left. I promise. I promise. Okay, perfect. I can't wait to get it in the mail. Oh, well then you have the... I can definitely send it. I have one for you and one for somebody else who wants to leave me a comment. And leave me a comment answering the question. Let's see. What's the funniest thing you've ever attempted to draw and failed miserably at? Let's go there. I don't know. So if you would like my original card and you would like it in the mail, leave a comment explaining that to me. Okay. Alright, back to the card here. So I have my card base. We've got our frame. We've got our white piece of paper. And we now have our little Adalaide. Okay. So the first thing you need to do is a horror character that ended up looking like a decrepit squirrel. Yay, Aiden. I'm glad I'm not the only one. I failed. Okay, so you want to match up your two pieces, okay? And I have made myself a piece of cardstock with a fold in the center, so I've scored it. This is 3/4 of an inch, and I've created a score line in the center. Okay, so use your bone folder. I will definitely send it to you, Kevin. Do you want the decrepit strawberry one, or do you want the original? So actually, I'm going to take my tape runner because my paper will cover this. I'm going to put a little tape runner on the top of the acetate, or you could put it on the top of your cardstock, doesn't matter which. But then you have to, you definitely want the carrot one, okay. Then you want to line them up perfectly, okay? Like that black image has to be over the black image below it, okay? And then just give it a good press. And then you're going to wrap this little piece around the top, okay? I've already pre-scored and pre-score taped it up, so it's all ready. Give him some credit. He did a Cheeto and a failed version of the Cheeto guy. Oh, Kevin drew a Cheeto. Funny. All jokes. Okay. So I'm just using this as a decorative piece. It just makes it kind of finished at the top. This is not necessary. It covers up that adhesive bit, right? And the color is cute with it. Okay. All right. So no, the premise behind this is this piece now, if I can get it to, it goes in between, okay? So see how you just see the black part, okay? And it's kind of got to go just up there, okay? Just jam it up and line it up because it's the same width as those two pieces, okay? So you're going to take the top. This is the top of mine because my sentiment's going to go down here. I'm going to flip it. This is the top, and you're going to line up the top, okay? So what you can do is take your, excuse me, got the hiccups. Just low-tack tape, okay? Make sure everything is lined up. Just double check that it's in the right spot in your viewfinder. Okay, we're good. Yes, this is how the magic is revealed. Now, see how this thing sticks out the bottom? We actually have to attach this blank piece to the frame. So I'm going to use some, if I can reach it here. It's just so much easier when you use like a fast tape, right? So flip this kind of back now, and you're just going to put a piece of tape at the bottom of your frame. Okay, so your piece that you colored isn't long enough to reach that, but, oh, and we moved. Hang on there, buddy. And what it's going to do is going to hold down that white piece of paper onto your frame, okay? So now, I might have to fix this. This is not centered. It moved on me. Hang on. See if we can fix this. Will it fix? Please work. Okay. So now you need to trim off. Okay, see how it's sticking out the end? You gotta trim that off. And it's easier to do it now than when it's on the card, okay? So just use your scissors or your trimmer or whatever and just trim off that sucker, okay? Yeah, gone. It's just easier to have it long and trim it off than to work with something that's shorter or smaller, because, oh God. Just, yeah, you're going to be fiddling with it forever, and you don't want to do that. Okay. Okay, I'm just adjusting this a little bit this can be moved a little bit and adjusted because it's not attached to anything. Now, there is a way to make sure that this piece doesn't come flying out, but I'm not going to do that because it's such a pain in the tushki. So your recipient you're just going to have to leave a little message saying, please be gentle when you pull, or don't pull all the way out. Yeah. Okay, so it's just sitting there right now, okay? We'll come back to that in a second. Now, I made a little bit thinner one of these at the top. This, I believe, is 1 inch thick. And this one actually covered up this piece. And so that's why I designed the card for you guys tonight to be a little thinner so it hides underneath the frame. But this piece can be taped on. Now, don't put any tape where it's going to stick to the acetate. So I made kind of like a U shape of tape. I didn't put any in the center so that I don't run the risk of taping my acetate down because then the card doesn't work, okay? So just be aware. You only want to put glue on the frame and not on the across the acetate. Okay. So this is purely decorative, and I just wanted a pop of color because the card is so plain until you open it. So just line it up with the top of your card. Okay. And now I'm just going to take a random circle die. I'm not actually going to die cut. I'm just going to use it as a template because I didn't want to die cut it ahead of time. So just use your die as a stencil, or use a stencil that has a circle in it. And I'm just going to eyeball it. Just going to use my pencil to draw around the edge. And I just need to make sure that I'm making enough of a mark here so that I can see it. Okay? And then I'm just going to, it's only the frame. See, I'm not cutting the flappy. I'm just cutting the frame. Okay? And I mean, you can attempt to do this ahead of time, and you could do this. You could die cut it before. You could absolutely die cut it before you put it together, like before you tape everything to the back. But, you know, I'm just trying to make it more difficult for you. The only reason I want kind of a finger space is just because it makes it easier to pull. It makes it easier to pull out your tab, right? Like, duh. Okay. Alright. Am I still on screen? I hope so. Okay, so now it's much easier to grab that tab. Okay? And pull. Now, flip your card to the back. Make sure your little tag pull is in the center. And now you want to take some foam tape. Okay? You can do a bunch of layered cardstock and make it thick, but you gotta do probably three layers of cardstock, like thick, heavy-duty cardstock, to make it thick enough, because we have, like, this is pretty bulky at the top. This is 3 layers of cardstock and a piece of acetate. Okay, so I'm just kind of pre-measuring my tape here. And then this stuff is kind of perfect because if I just cut down the center, this is 3M foam tape, my favorite foam tape. Just cut down the center of it. These pieces fit perfectly on this particular width with my little pull-up tag being 3 1/4. Now, I don't put my foam tape on the outside of the card. I try and butt it up against the tag. Okay? I use the straight edge, not the cut edge. because the straight edge is much better. Okay. So what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to make like almost like a pocket for that tag. Okay. And then we need a piece at the bottom here too. And for this, you do not need it all the way across. For my other card, all I did was make little ones. So this is the bottom of your tag right here. So in order for it to remain at the top of the card, so first you want to line everything up. Like this is sitting flush to my frame. Then I can butt up my foam tape to the bottom, and that way the tag won't disappear either. Well, it won't because of the fold line, but it this is how I put my tape. Just want to make sure you don't overlap and attach that. And I think I'll do one more in the middle just for stability. It doesn't matter if it's butted against. Okay. All right. So are you ready? So again, a side fold card. This is the top. Make sure you're putting it on right, because you'll be hitting yourself if you put it on upside down. Been there, done that. Yeah. So peel off all the backer of your foam tape. Okay, are you ready? So I always start in upper corner, because if I need to trim off anything, I can. There. Okay. Almost done. I buy the foam tape by the roll. Anne says, me too, because I use so much of it. Okay, so now, are you ready? Our little strawberry girl. And voila. There's our Adalaide with her cute little carrot hat. Her carrot / strawberry hat. You can buy squares of foam tape. There's adhesive companies that have like pieces of waxy paper, and they have different squares or circles. You can buy it in black, you can buy it in white, you can actually buy it in clear. Just one second here. We do need one more thing. We need to add a sentiment, though. Hang on, I gotta find my... This is the only thing we have left here, guys. But it's an easier card to make than you think. Ah! And because this card is so thick, I think I'm gonna have to pull out my foam. Otherwise, it'll be too funny. Okay. And we're going to use a sentiment from the Adalaide Hiya Gnomie stamp set. Okay, this one comes with Adalaide. And I'm just going to center it kind of just below her, just below the oval. And I'm just going to use a red ink. And just so it matches our red paper there and our strawberries. Okay. All right, guys. So, without further ado, here she is. So yeah, this is a great card to surprise your friend or your grandchild or your daughter or son. Just make somebody smile, because they're thinking, oh wow, what a boring card. Well, you just have to leave them a little message, or you can actually put the word pull up in the circle. That would work. And then they know to pull out the tab. And you got your own fabulous magic card. Does anybody have any questions before I go? Oh, hang on one second. There we go. So, so So like I said, if you would like my original card with the red hat, please leave a comment. Yeah, Adalaide in the magic carrot hat. So funny. It's a hybrid fruit. That's right. That's right. So if you would like to have it sent to you in the mail, please leave a comment just telling me what kind of ridiculous thing you've drawn and it's failed miserably, just like my carrot/strawberry hat. And I will pick a winner. You know what? I'll pick a winner tomorrow and send them the card. All right? So thanks so much for joining me for my fun tonight. And I'll see you guys sometime soon. Have a great night. Bye, guys. 17 blobs, yes. Carberry strata, yeah. Yeah, Carberry. Straw rot. No, that doesn't sound right. All right, have a good night, guys.